Hey, I'm Wilson Schultz, and I want to spend a few minutes walking you through the AgVisor Pro digital platform. By the end of this video, you'll have a great sense of how the platform works. You'll see how farmers, independent experts, ag retailers, and small to medium-sized agricultural enterprises can benefit from integrating AgVisor Pro into their workflow. So in a nutshell, AgVisor Pro is a remote connectivity platform for agriculture. It facilitates a stronger link between farmers and experts, between industry and customers, between researchers and industry stakeholders. Shrinking time and space and eliminating geography as the biggest limiting factor, AgVisor Pro is poised to transform the way agriculture communicates and create the interconnected future we've all been promised. No more 1-800 numbers either. We'll touch on this more in a bit, because first I want to show you how AgVisor Pro helps farmers get answers now. I'm going to walk you through some situations where a farmer would find AgVisor Pro useful. When a farmer has a question they can't answer themselves, they need to find an expert with the right advice, and they need to figure out how to connect to that expert as soon as possible to get an answer. AgVisor Pro has what farmers need in our network of AgVisors. AgVisors are independent experts, consultants, and professionals with expertise covering all facets of the ag industry. The AgVisor Pro platform helps a farmer find the expert they need for a particular issue and then facilitates a face-to-face session with that expert instantly, no matter where the farmer or expert is located. Sessions feature audio, video, instant messaging, and photo sharing. The platform saves and archives farmers' sessions with AgVisors and handles the monetary transaction automatically. The expert gets paid for their knowledge, and farmers can access that knowledge anytime they need to. In a post-COVID world, we know that every industry is exploring better ways to work remotely. AgVisor Pro embraces this future and lets these key experts in the industry stretch their knowledge even further and help more farmers get answers now. AgVisor Pro is a new way of dealing with one of agriculture's least efficient features, waiting around for good advice. Now, I could spend a long time talking to you about how all this works, but this is a demo and it's far better to see our platform function. I checked a neighbor's field peas a few weeks ago and noticed a lot of weed competition. So, say I was the grower here and I want some advice on what I could do this season to clean it up. The first thing I need to do after noticing the problem is find an expert who understands weed control in peas. So I open up AgVisor Pro and search for an AgVisor in this area. The platform makes it easy to find out who I should talk to by comparing my question to the AgVisor's expertise, and then it finds me a match. I found the AgVisor Matt Gosling, clicked over to his profile, and was immediately confident that he'd be able to answer my question because of his background and experience. I could connect with Matt instantly if that's what I wanted, or I could schedule a session with him in the near future if I had other things on the go. When it's time to call Matt, the platform notifies me of the appointment and I place a connection to the AgVisor. The platform confirms Matt's rate, the credit card I want to charge, and the estimated fee for the session. After confirming, I get immediately connected into a face-to-face session with Matt. Here's what that looks like. I'm just out here looking at some field peas. They're in the 3 to 4 node stage right now. And just with field peas, we've had issues with just herbicide applications in the past, not taking care of some of the bigger issues like big thistles on the edge of the field. There's lots of kochia. It's a pretty dirty crop right now. So I was just wondering what your recommendation would be on controlling those weeds in this first herbicide application pass of the season.
A competitive crop is your biggest tool in your toolbox as far as competing with weeds. So we've got great conditions for a competitive crop. Hopefully it hasn't been set back. Peas do typically get a bit of a flash from the herbicide, so I never try to go less than 10 gallons of solution with a herbicide. And as inconclusive as I've found foliar nutrition to be, putting some foliar nutrition, impartial to any kind of product, in with a herbicide does tend to mitigate a lot of that stress. Whether it provides a yield advantage or not, I don't know. But if you're really particular about how your peas are going to look after herbicide, it is something that I have done probably more frequently in crop than any other nutritional application.
Quick, easy, and effective. I know a lot of young farmers my age who haven't built big networks of experts, and this platform is invaluable because it helps build those connections. Find your own third-party advice with ease, build your own network. And even if you're a veteran farmer, AgVisor Pro can help you break out of a networking rut and find new expertise and ideas. Maybe you're a livestock, grain, or vegetable producer. Maybe you've been farming for 5 years or 50 years. Maybe you're wondering if you got the right sprayer nozzles, or maybe the market is moving and you could use some help from a marketing expert. Or maybe you just need to talk to a professional about HR or mental health issues. The bottom line is, maybe you don't have all your needs covered by your existing network. AgVisor Pro puts a huge, world-class expert network right in your pocket, so reliable answers are only ever a few clicks away. Speaking of experts, let's talk about this from their point of view for a minute. In agriculture, one of the biggest time sinks for any expert is usually windshield time. Sure, you can do phone calls and stuff while you're driving from farm to farm, but you're limited in what you can do without actually seeing what's going on. With video connection, AgVisor Pro helps eliminate some windshield time from an expert's day, so that expert could be anywhere at any time, engaging in sessions and solving problems, being in the field without being in the field. As an expert, you set your hours. You can take calls whenever you're free, even if you're off the clock. For example, Mackenzie needed some advice on a tough stand of Caragana, and Caleb was out running errands. AgVisor Pro allowed an instantaneous connection, solving Mackenzie's problem and allowing Caleb to monetize his expertise even when off the clock. Check it out.
Hey, Mr. Caleb Greisman, Mackenzie here. Got a quick question for you. So I got a shelter belt of Caraganas with a buried barbed wire fence on our one field. Looking to remove it, so mulcher's not an option due to the fence. What would you do?
Yes, I could suggest if you can't use mechanical removal, total destruction of the root system, you could consider pulling the entire tree out, but you could also consider cutting the tree down and then covering the root system with some sort of blackout material. Could be a garbage bag, could be whatever else you have available to you. And that would give you an opportunity to kind of stifle the root system and hopefully reduce any sort of potential photosynthesization of the plant, and therefore stifling it so you don't get any regrowth.
Okay, so that should kind of prevent any suckers or anything from growing then?
It can. With established plants, it's possible that it's able to regenerate, but it could definitely stifle it and hopefully beat it back. It might take a couple summers even, but you want to be able to stifle it so that the root system has time to break down.
Okay, well, awesome. That answers my question. Thank you so much for the session on AgVisor Pro.
So again, we've got face-to-face connection. The grower gets the advice they need and the expert is making the best use of their time. Let's hear a little more from Caleb about how AgVisor Pro works for him as an expert.
The internet is so inundated with information, and at a time when we all want to be kind of self-sufficient, and perseverance is a really important skill to possess, it's important to be able to cut through the weeds and access information in an effective and efficient way. And I think that by having AgVisor connect people in a community that's directly related to what you're looking for, that has completely washed away a lot of the unnecessary information you come across, and potentially like untrue information that you find on the internet. And also, I think from obviously the professional's perspective, the number of times I get a phone call that isn't being monetized, where I'm literally spending 10 to 15 minutes of my time with a customer that there's not going to be any payout at the end. They're not necessarily going to be able to hire me to do anything because it's a small question they have, or I'm able to answer it right away and there's no further, there's no follow-up needed. It always has burned a little bit, and I really pride myself on customer service and really enjoy connecting with customers, but not being able to have any sort of financial ties to that is tough, especially when it's, on a Sunday, like you're saying, or in your personal time. And being an entrepreneur, you want to be able to capitalize on those financially, but also from a customer basis, building a reputation.
Okay, so we've touched on how AgVisor Pro works for growers and independent experts in agriculture. But what about small or medium-sized enterprises in ag? So maybe companies that are currently using a 1-800 customer service model, or just a free-for-all system where customers are trying to reach certain people in a business for answers. This has been made even more challenging in a post-COVID world. Some customers are Apple users, trying to connect with company reps by FaceTime. Some are Android users, so that doesn't work. Customers are trying to use WhatsApp, Google Hangouts, Zoom. It becomes a logistical nightmare for reps. AgVisor Pro has a program for ag businesses and the customers they service called the TechDirect solution. TechDirect is a replacement for the outdated 1-800 customer service model. Businesses who sign up with TechDirect can utilize AgVisor Pro's powerful digital platform to facilitate a connection between their customer service reps and their customers. The face-to-face connection, coupled with the platform's archiving feature, means a massive improvement in connection over 1-800 services. And it's far easier for the customer to find exactly the right person in a business to speak to. Back to that pea field for an example. If a grower was thinking about their variable rate fungicide strategy and needed some guidance, they might turn to a company rather than an individual. Point Forward Solutions, for example, is a business that specializes in variable rate and mapping technology, and they're also a TechDirect partner. This means a grower that's searching for variable rate advice can do so within the platform. So all you have to do is search Point Forward Solutions in AgVisor Pro and immediately connect to their reps for free through the platform. A few weeks ago, I connected with Chad Andruko for a demo. Chad and I were immediately patched in and talking about variable rate strategy, and again, because Point Forward Solutions is an AgVisor Pro TechDirect partner, it didn't cost me anything for that session. On Chad's end, his team didn't have to deal with routing a 1-800 call through several people, only to get Chad's voicemail because he's in the field. AgVisor Pro's TechDirect program bypasses all of that and connects me immediately to the right person. Quick and easy for both sides, and the best part is, Chad can be with me in my field without being in the field. Here's how that session went.
Yeah, it's pretty wet out here, and I was just wondering if you could kind of step me through what the benefits of a variable rate fungicide application would be and how you guys would go about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we've just had a bunch of rain, so we've got a bunch of areas that are drowned out or stressed or just oversaturated. So they're probably not worth being sprayed. So it's not worth the grower spending all that kind of money. So what we have is we've got our EC maps that are developed soil textures and also topography. So any growers who deal with us, we can use those maps to make on-off applications that line up pretty nicely to where areas are being drowned out. So we can write a prescription for their sprayer to turn off in those areas that are being oversaturated or stressed and save the grower the money. It's probably going to be an area where he's not going to get the ROI out of it, so it's not worth spraying. Growers who aren't dealing with us and don't have the EC maps, we can use imagery, and we can come out and ground truth the field for the grower to help define the areas that are worth spraying or not spraying, and then create a prescription for an on-off as well through their sprayer, and save them some money, save them some time. There's still a lot of areas that aren't being saturated, and there's definitely worth the crop there to be sprayed and get the money and the ROI out of it in return for sure.
We're working on standardizing the experience for farmers. Different experts, different companies, all through the same communications channel. And as good as this is for farmers, it's even better for ag businesses.
It's just that much easier to talk to someone actually direct rather than having to go through a chain line of always trying to connect to the correct person you're trying to get through. That can be extremely frustrating. So by having this direct line of contact, you can talk to someone that actually specializes in the issue you're trying to have or trying to solve, and it just makes the whole process seamless. And the ways of just being able to set up a connection time that works for both people is a real nice feature. I guess face-to-face connection is nice. So if a farmer has a problem, we can visually see what is going on and help diagnose the problem easier. And it's a more personal approach too. They get to know you, especially if they've never met you before. So the face-to-face connection is a nice touch, and it's a good feature to have. Obviously, if you don't have an iPhone, it's hard to FaceTime anyone to have that face-to-face connection. So then you're having to use WhatsApp, and it just can be a little frustrating trying to have a grower try to download WhatsApp if he's not familiar with it and everything. So the AgVisor app, it's great on every platform, and it's easy to access. So it just makes it as a great seamless way to connect with growers and help them out with their problems and address anything that they need helping with.
Now, I've told you how this works for growers and the independent experts and ag businesses that support them. But AgVisor Pro is so much more than this. And to talk about the vision, I want to pass this off to Rob Syke, founder and CEO of AgVisor Pro. Rob?
Thanks, Wilson. You did a great job hosting. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity now to tell you a little bit about where we came from and where we're going with AgVisor Pro. It was late in 2018 that I mashed together a PowerPoint presentation, basically combining eHarmony together with Uber, together with FaceTime, together with Twitter. And I shared that idea with farmers to determine whether or not there was an appetite for this kind of a platform that we had in mind. And indeed, farmers expressed that this was something of interest. And so we struck the company, we trademarked AgVisor Pro, and we began the development and resulted in the launch of the minimum viable product last July at Ag in Motion. So the hypothesis that I had, the theory, was that there's going to be all sorts of Internet of Things or connectivity devices, sensors that will tell a farmer where he has a problem. What the problem is, well, that may happen with recognition software and artificial intelligence, but why the problem is there and how to fix it, well, I think that's going to be the realm of the human being for a long, long time. So what we've done with AgVisor Pro, it's a connection between high tech and high touch. We want to leverage the tech, but we also recognize that the wisdom and knowledge of experts in agriculture is very, very important. And so we're creating a way to connect that high tech with the high touch. That's what AgVisor Pro is designed to do. And so we embarked on a mission to effectively shrink time and space. And this built on the work that we did with AgriTrend, which I founded in 1997. And we grew to one of North America's largest agricultural consulting firms, eventually selling AgriTrend and AgriData to Trimble. Following that, I was on a mission with Dot Technology Corp, which was acquired by Raven Industries. And that's effectively when I came back to lead AgVisor Pro. And since March, we've grown our company from 2 to over 20 people. And this has resulted in us being able to do something amazing for agriculture. AgVisor Pro is more than just connecting farmers and experts. What we've been able to create with AgVisor Pro is an interconnectivity matrix that can connect farmers and independent experts and industry experts and researchers and government and even the public on a matrix where everybody can communicate using AgVisor Pro. So AgVisor Pro has a number of facets to it. Farmers are able to link to experts with AgVisor Pro instantaneously. Imagine connecting with people like Tom Wolfe and talking about spraying, or Scott Mears about insects, or Derek Squire about grain marketing. That's the power that you have. For small to medium-sized agricultural businesses and agricultural suppliers and manufacturers, we've got something called TechDirect. TechDirect is where we register your company, your products, and your representatives, and we create instantaneous accessibility between people who have questions about your company or your products and your technical representatives, and this is all done in the app for free. And finally, instant access is about AgVisor Pro being embedded inside of other applications, SaaS platforms, or CRMs. It's really creating instant connectivity using AgVisor Pro within another platform or application. We're also hopeful that we'll be able to white label and work with mental health associations to offer mental health support for the agriculture community using AgVisor Pro. The bottom line is we're just getting started. We're growing our team, so we're needing to hire more people. We're growing our partners. We need to have more TechDirect partners. We're growing our user base. We're growing our investors. So if any of those things appeal to you, please reach out to us. And finally, I just urge you to download AgVisor Pro on iOS or Android or desktop. Download the application. If you're a farmer, you can start using it right away for free by connecting to TechDirect partners. If you're an expert, build your profile, and you can start leveraging your knowledge and wisdom to truly help agriculture in a brand new way to provide answers now with AgVisor Pro.